Gennady Golovkin, and what would be your strategy? Let's start with you.
Just swerve Golovkin like the plague, punches like a mule. You don't need to be in with him.
Maybe he showed a moment of vulnerability or two. Maybe he tantalized future opponents. But at the end of the day, it's knockout number 20 in a row.
Anytime, anywhere. A simple promise sent out 5 years ago to the middleweight division by boxing's hottest asset.
Big drama show, let's go, let's do it.
A man who had slowly become one of the toughest fighters to matchmake in the entire world. Shunned on his rise through the ranks by the likes of Miguel Cotto, Sergio Martinez, and Felix Sturm. Though, as the cream of the crop danced around him, Gennady Golovkin did the only thing he could: destroy everything in sight.
Indelible images of violence.
Something which, despite there being nothing inherently intimidating about the Kazakh fighter, led him to being recognized by ESPN as the most avoided fighter of all time.
Next, of course, war. Yes, we're ready for anybody.
Stopping a long list of game, solid, and honest fighters with relative ease, his superhuman chin, freakish power, and humble demeanor turned Triple G into a fan favorite overnight. And with his success came the start of an Eastern European resurgence in boxing, one which now looks as promising as ever. This coming weekend, October 5th, we see Golovkin back in action in what may be his last bid for all the belts. So please click thumbs up, subscribe, and press the bell button to be notified of our latest videos as we narrow down the career of one of today's greatest active fighters. To look at 5 times Gennady Golovkin shocked the boxing world.
It's not just that Golovkin knocks people out. It's the way he knocks people out.
Welcome to a Motivedia presentation. For a man with 350 amateur fights, 41 professional fights, and only a few losses, it's almost impossible to choose just 5 standout nights.
Huge punch there from Golovkin.
Golovkin has continued to make an impact since his American debut, his 24th pro outing, where he knocked out Proska in 5. And from that point on, we began to see a similar trend and similar outcome. 1 year and 4 fights later, Golovkin sent out the ultimate warning beacon when he fought Curtis Stevens at MSG.
I'm going to go in there and do what I do and show everybody that he's not like that. He's not like that. He's overrated. I'm going to go in there and demolish his ass.
Stevens came into the fight with a respectable 25-3 record, boasting 18 knockouts of his own. And much like the rest, he had every belief he could be the first man to strike a question mark against the Kazakh's reputation. However, in the second round, in a snapshot moment that would personify Triple G's entire career, we saw the American hit the deck. Shock, bordering disbelief. After a handful of rounds, the fight became increasingly one-sided, continuing to land with precision, power, and applying constant pressure.
Right cross for Golovkin. Body shot. Uppercut. Right cross. Right cross.
Until, after a brutal 8th round, the referee had seen enough.
And they're going to stop it in the corner.
That's a great stoppage.
Andre Rozier had seen enough.
Here, humble as ever, Golovkin called out Martinez to step up as his next opponent.
Name one.
Sergio Martinez, Peter Quillen, please guys, I'm here, I'm staying here.
2 years later, boxing fans were treated to another guaranteed night of fireworks. Gennady had beat another 5 opponents in the meantime, all by knockout, and continued to hunt the division's very best.
They came to see the knockout artists, and they're seeing them.
Cue the arrival of Canadian power puncher David Lemieux. Another man who, with 34 wins and 31 knockouts, came to fight fire with fire against the boogeyman.
Triple G has power, but I have very good power also. I'm very confident in my abilities to do whatever I need to do to win this fight.
However, once he felt the blunt force of Triple G's punches, everything seemed to change.
As he's landing his jab, and Lemieux hasn't landed much of anything.
Dominant for the offset, Golovkin methodically beat down his opponent in front of another sold-out crowd at the Garden.
How many jabs can you eat before you begin to make bad decisions?
Throwing wildly in the third, Lemieux looked tentative and out of his depth. And down in the fifth, before being put away 3 rounds later, he was put firmly in his place.
Steve Willis is going to stop the fight.
Much like his other fights, the pundits were left astonished, and again left scratching their head at who could handle the pace, the pressure, and the power of the Kazakh.
I've always felt, and I've said it in interviews before, I feel like Kell Brook is unbeatable. But I didn't say that thinking he'd fight Gennady Golovkin.
By this point, Golovkin's popularity soared as high as any other in the sport. And so next, we go back 3 years to that night at the O2 in London.
And Kell Brook, following the footsteps of fighters like Leonard and Griffith, we're about to see as he goes against Gennady Golovkin.
With a 36-fight unbeaten record to Triple G's 35, Brook was praised from the offset for even taking the fight.
No one in his own weight division wants to fight him, so that's what you have to take into account when you're giving Cal the respect for taking his fight. No one in the middleweight division wants to fight Gennady Golovkin.
And it was clear why, as Triple G opened well, landing some big early shots.
Body shot, Brook is in front.
Though, met with resistance for arguably the first time of his career, Brook caught Golovkin clean in the second, drawing blood.
Comes out of its seats, excited by the uppercut.
And if not for his chin, he maybe would have taken a half step backwards. However, whilst trading shots, the Brit's eye socket was broken, and so the next 3 rounds spelt disaster.
Engel is trying to get referee Marlon Wright to stop the fight, and now he finally throws the
In a night that made the Kazakh's power appear even more frightening, Brook retained his credibility, but not his unbeaten
So
record.
second round, I understand it is not boxing. I need street fight, like, just broke him.
Despite most of his opponents being reluctant to step up, Golovkin had now found himself amongst the division's elite. And so, another 8 months down the line, it was the turn of another fearless contender, the Miracle Man, Danny Jacobs.
Miracle Man, Daniel Jacobs.
No boxing. You know what he brings to the table. You know what I bring to the table. You know this is a can't-miss fight. This is probably one of the best fights that's going to be this year.
Entering as the bigger man, Jacobs was estimated by Kellerman to have been around 180 pounds on the night. Realistically, a legitimate light heavyweight.
I need a win tonight to become a star in the middleweight division.
And so, early doors, the American looked relatively comfortable holding his own with Triple G. In the fourth, however, Golovkin landed a short right hand, knocking him down.
Down goes Jacobs. The first knockdown of the fight.
Whilst Danny was able to effectively switch stances and offer resistance, the ring control and piston-like jab of Golovkin gave him a clear edge. Where people looked to pick holes and claim he was diminishing, Golovkin went 12 for the first time in over 10 years. Doing enough to outpoint Jacobs. A man who, now clearly as ever, stands a solidified world-level fighter. Lastly, what has proven to be the biggest night of the Kazakh's professional career, and one that, even to this day, leaves a few controversial question marks remaining. A couple of years in the making, billed as Supremacy, one of the biggest middleweight spectacles of all time.
Here we are, champion versus champion.
Canelo's fast start and active bursts in the opening minute of each round asserted his position in the fight.
Oh, lovely from Alvarez. That's his specialty, isn't it? That upper body movement.
Though with Golovkin's stiff jab and relentless work rate, he looked to be doing enough to edge it. In a fight that met every expectation, we saw Canelo's slick counters met with Golovkin's power and pressure. And And we saw as Canelo landed an overhand right that has rendered countless opponents unconscious that Triple G's chin is otherworldly.
114, 114. This is officially a draw.
With a draw, Golovkin made his 19th consecutive defense, just one behind the great Bernard Hopkins. And whilst the result controversially went against him, and Adelaide Bird's outrageous scorecard is still somewhat of a myth, the spectacle and performances on both sides made for an all-time classic. And now, as the second fight favored the Mexican fighter, the fans eagerly anticipate that third and final fight. Alexandros, you expect to have a social life when the house looks like this? Pick up those dirty clothes, wash those dishes, make this dump shine like the top of the Chrysler Building. It's got to be clean and classy, just like a Motivedia presentation.